Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about 10 MCQs based on demand, supply, and market equilibrium. First question is, demand curve for a normal good will shift to the left if first on consumer income falls, second the price of the good falls, third the price of complementary good fall, fourth there is an increase in taste for the commodity. The last one, advertising expenditures on complementary good increase. Then we will discuss one by one. Before discussing about these things, I drew a diagram to explain those things. Now here in this question, it is asking about the demand in the situations where demand curve shift to the left. Now see the first question. The income of the consumer falls. When income of the consumer falls, when our income falls, we will reduce the demand. Then what happens? Demand curve shift to the left like this. Then in this case, the first one is correct. Then the first answer is correct. But we will discuss about the other answers too, right? The first one is correct. Then second one. Then the second option, the price of the good falls. If price of the good falls, it is movement along the demand curve. Then if it is higher price, quantity demand is less. If price falls, quantity demand increases, but the existing demand curve remains unchanged due to the price of the good falls, right? Then next one, the prices of complementary good fall. Means complements mean the things, the goods we consume together. Then for example, tea and sugar are complements, or computer and software as complements. When a complement price falls, for example, let's say when computer price falls, the demand for software will be increased. That means when computer price falls, more computers will be demanded, and with more computers, more softwares will be demanded. In that case, this demand curve shift to the right, not to the left. Therefore, this one is wrong. Then earlier one correct. This one is also wrong. The next one is, there is an increase in taste for the commodity. If our taste increases, we demand more of that good, then our demand curve will shift to the right, not to the left. Therefore, this one is also wrong. This fourth one is also wrong. Next one, advertising expenditures on complementary goods increase. If more advertising expenditures, or when more advertisements are there in complementary goods, then the demand for complements will increase, as well as the demand for the good consideration also will be increased. Then demand curve shift to the right. Therefore, this one is also wrong. Then the correct answer is the first one. This is the correct answer for the first question. Correct answer is, if the consumer income falls only, demand curve will be shifted to the left, right? Then we will move to the next question. Then second question is, which one of the following is not held constant when consumer demand curve is drawn up? Then again I will draw the demand curve, only the demand curve, right? Demand curve. Then here question, which one of the following is not held constant when consumer demand curve drawn up? Then when demand curve is drawing, we assume all the other factors affecting demand remain constant, only the price change. That's why here downward sloping demand curve can be seen. If the price is high, quantity demand is less, right? At lower prices, quantity demand is high. Then all the other factors affecting demand remain constant. What are all the other factors? Prices of complements and substitutes, consumer income remain constant, consumer taste remain constant, future expectations remain constant, number of buyers in the market remain constant, other factors affecting demand remain constant. Then only the price changes, right? Then what's the thing we assume? Here, the price of substitutes, prices of other goods remain constant. Therefore, this one is wrong. And the prices of complementary goods, when substitutes and complements comes under the prices of other goods, they remain constant. The price of the good under consideration, see, price of the good under consideration is not held constant, it's changing. Therefore, this one is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. Next one, the price of factors of production. Then that is a determinant of supply, not a determinant of demand. Therefore, this one somehow it will not come. Fourth one will not come. Then consumer income, see here, consumer income also remain unchanged. Therefore, this one also will not come. Then the correct answer is the third one. The price of the good under consideration. Then we will move to the next one. Third one. What effect will a fall in Coca-Cola prices have on the Pepsi market? Then here Coca-Cola and Pepsi are substitutes, right? Substitutes. Then when Coca-Cola price falls, asking about what happens to the Pepsi market. When Coca-Cola price falls, the quantity demand for Coca-Cola rises. Quantity demand for Coca-Cola rises and demand for Pepsi. When we consider about the Pepsi market, then Coca-Cola is substitute. When substitute price falls, demand for Pepsi also will fall. Those consumers will shift to consume Coca-Cola. Then demand reduces, decrease in demand, right? Then answer is decrease in demand. Third one is answer. Right. We will move to the next one. Fourth question. Which one of the following factors likely to cause the prices of milk powder to increase without shifting the demand curve? Then here we have to draw the equilibrium in milk powder market. Right? Then in addition, I will draw the equilibrium price and quantity. Then this is the equilibrium price in milk powder market. This is the equilibrium quantity. Let's assume equilibrium price is, let's say, 500 and quantity is, let's say, 2 million. Then I move to the question again. Which of the following factors is likely to cause the price of milk powder to increase? This price should be increased without shifting the demand curve. Then this demand curve should remain constant, but the price should increase. In that case, like this situation should come. Let's say price increase. When price increases, quantity demand definitely fall. Then let's say here milk powder price becomes 750, and when price increases, quantity reduces, let's say 1.75 million. 1.75 million. Then we will discuss how this occurs. The condition is this demand curve should remain unchanged. This demand curve should remain unchanged. Now we will discuss one by one. An increase in the productivity of milk powder producers. Then productivity affect on the supply. Then due to the improvement in technology and all, productivity of the suppliers will increase. If productivity increases like this way, supply curve shift to right. Right? Supply curve shift to right like this way. Supply curve shift to right like this way. In that case, equilibrium price falls without changing the demand curve. Therefore, this one is wrong. Right? Next one, an increase in the real income of consumers. When real income increases, the demand will increase. In that case, demand increase. Due to the increase in demand, this condition is not fulfilled. Therefore, that's wrong. The next one, an increase in the wage of dairy industry workers. If wage increases, wage is determinant of cost of production. It is determinant of supply. When wage increases, supply curve shift to left like this. In that say, without changing the demand curve, due to the decrease in supply, price increases, quantity reduces. Then this condition is okay. Then this one is correct. This one is correct. An increase in the wages of dairy industry workers. That's correct. We will discuss other things also. Next one. An increase in the subsidy for milk powder producers. If subsidy increases for the milk powder producers, the supply curve shifts like this. The supply curve shifts to right. The supply curve shifts to right. Like this way. Supply curve shift to right like this way. In that case, demand does not change, but price falls and quantity demand increases. That's wrong. Then fifth one, an increase in the consumer taste for milk powder. When consumer taste increases, it affects on demand. It affects on demand. Then demand curve shift to the right like this way. Therefore, the correct answer is the third one. In this situation only, milk powder price increases. Milk powder price increase without shifting the demand curve in the third situation only. Therefore, third one is the correct answer. Then I move to the next one. Fifth one, when the price of good X rises. Then we will take a summary. Price of good X. Price of X good increase. Price of X good increase. Prices. The demand for Y good falls. Then the demand for Y falls. Right? Then like this situation occurs actually in case of complements. This situation occurs actually in case of complements. When price of X good rises, let's say this X good is computers. This X good is computers. The demand for Y falls. Then let's assume this Y is softwares. Software. In that case, when computer price rises, software the demand for software reduces. Why? Because at higher prices, computers will not be purchased. At the same time, without purchasing computers, no use of purchasing softwares. Therefore, the demand for software falls. Then these two goods are complements, right? Complements. Then you select the answer that shows complements. Then X and Y goods are complements. Then you select the answer that shows complements, right? Then rice and bread, they are substitutes. Coca-Cola and Pepsi, substitutes. Rice and wheat flour, substitutes. Then substitutes means the things we can consume instead of one good, right? Then sugar and jaggery are substitutes. Then torch and battery, they are complements, those two things consumed together. Then this is the answer. Fifth one is the answer, torch and battery. Then I move to the next one. Question number 6. The diagram shows the supply curve and demand curves for public transport service. Then asking which area of the diagram shows the consumer surplus. Then before finding out the answer, I will show you the consumer surplus, producer surplus, and economic surplus. Then consumer surplus is this part. This part is the consumer surplus, right? This green color part, consumer surplus. Producer surplus is this part. Producer surplus is this part. Then what's the meaning of consumer surplus? Consumer surplus is the difference between what the price that producer is willing to pay and actual pay for this equilibrium quantity. This accumulated value is the area of this MPE triangle is the value of consumer surplus. Producer surplus is producer is willing to receive minimum of S price, actually receive P price for this equilibrium quantity. Then this in pink color part is producer surplus. Then total economic surplus is the addition of sum of this consumer surplus and producer surplus. Then what's the consumer surplus here? MEP is the consumer surplus. Then this is answer. MEP is consumer surplus. MEP is consumer surplus. Now we will move to the next one. The substitution effect of a price change is a change in quantity demanded that occurs. Yes, substitution. Then here, as a result of change in relative price, with all other factors held constant. Then answer is the second one. Then we discuss about the quantity demand changes due to change in the relative prices. When all the other factors remain constant, including substitute prices. If price of the relative price of the good concerned increases, relative price of the good concerned increases, the quantity demand falls. Right? As the same way, when all the other factors remain constant, including substitutes, due to the fall in the price of the good concerned, the relative price will become low. As relative price becomes low, the quantity demand of the good concern will be increased, right? Then answer is the second one. The next one. Then which of the following would shift the supply curve for a good to the left? Supply curve, what are the determinants of supply? Then here again I will draw a diagram. Then which of the following would shift the supply curve of a good to the left? Supply curve should shift to the left. That means it's like this way, supply curve should shift to the left. Like this way, it should shift to the left. Then like this way, it should shift to the left. Then we will discuss the situations. An increase in the cost of production. If cost of production increases, for example, due to the imposition of taxes or due to the increase in the other factors of production like wages, raw materials and all, then due to the increase in cost of production, then supply will be reduced. Due to the reduction in supply curve shift to the left. Then due to the decrease in cost of production, if cost of production reduces, supply curve shift to the right side, like this way. Then this is correct, this is wrong. An increase in the price, when price increases, it is a supply curve remain unchanged, right? Only the quantity supply will be increased. A decrease in price, the other way around, when price falls, quantity supply reduces while staying the supply curve as same. A decrease in demand, it affects on the demand curve, not the supply curve. And due to the decrease in demand curve shift to the left, not the supply curve. Then the correct answer is the first one. First one is the correct answer. Right, we will move to the next one, 9th question. A market is defined as being in equilibrium when market equilibrium is, it's also same situation. The point where the independent plans of the buyers, these are the independent plans of the buyers, the exactly equal with the independent plans of the sellers, we call market is in equilibrium, right? Then this is the market equilibrium. Here equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. And this point is the market equilibrium point. Here price, quantity, zero, supply, demand. Then this one is market equilibrium price. Here let's say it is $10. This is the quantity. Let's say 100 units. Now here the meaning of market equilibrium are asking. A market is defined as being in equilibrium. There is maximum output at minimum cost. Maximum output at minimum cost means it is productive efficiency, not the market equilibrium. Right? The producer surplus is maximized. Then we can't say producer surplus is this part. We can't say there is equilibrium. The prices are at the lowest possible level. That's also not the equilibrium. Consumer satisfaction is maximized. That is also not the equilibrium. At equilibrium, there is no tendency for market price to change. Now here is the market price. At the equilibrium situation, there is no tendency either to increase or decrease the market price. Right? Then that's the equilibrium situation. Then answer is the fifth one. Answer is the fifth one. The next one. The market demand function for a good is QD equals 600 minus 10p. The supply function for the good is QSC equals minus 100 plus 10p. If the price of that good set as rupees 35, the market for that good will experience equilibrium, excess demand causing rising price, excess supply causing falling price, excess supply causing rising price, excess supply causing falling price. Then we will check whether it is equilibrium or whatever excess supply or excess demand. Then we will calculate the quantity demand and quantity supply at this 35 rupee. Then I will write the quantity demand equation. QD equals 600 minus 10p. Then we will substitute this 35 for this 10. Then QD equals 600 minus 10 into 35 into 35. Then QD equals 600 minus 350. It is QD equals 250. Like this way, we will substitute this 35 for the supply equation, and we will calculate the quantity. It will the quantity supply at 35 rupees. Then here I will calculate the quantity supply also. QS equals minus 100 plus 10p. Then QS equals minus 100 plus 10 into 35. Then QS equals minus 100 plus 350. Then it is QS equals 250. Then see in both the situation, at 35 rupees, quantity demand equals quantity supplied. Quantity demand 250 quantities units, as well as quantity supply 250 units. Then quantity demand equals quantity supply at 35 rupees. Or another way we can say 250 quantities are demanded at 35 rupees, as well as 250 quantities are supplied at 35 rupees. Then demand price equal supply price in that case. Then here there is no excess demand or excess supply. Therefore market is at equilibrium. Then answer is the equilibrium. Right? Now these are the answers for whole paper. In question number 1, answer is the first one. Second, third one. Third answer. Fourth, third answer. Fifth answer. Sixth, first answer. Seventh, second answer. Eighth, first answer. Question number 9, fifth answer. 10th, first answer. Right? Then you can comment your marks in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching this video.